Secondary school teachers walked off the job yesterday, calling the government's pay offer despicable. The PPTA says the proposed 1% annual pay bump over 3 years amounts to a pay cut once inflation is factored in, and fails to reflect the workload of teachers implementing curriculum reforms and supporting students' mental health. On picket lines nationwide, teachers said schools were already struggling to recruit and retain staff, and low pay was driving people out of the profession. Some described the offer as insulting and warned students' education would suffer unless teachers felt valued. The union says further action could follow, with year-level rostering home for next month if no progress is made. Education Minister Erica Stanford called the strike premeditated and disappointing, given talks had only just resumed. ACT leader David Seymour says teachers had already seen a 14% pay rise in recent years, while Labor and the Greens backed teachers' concerns, saying the government was effectively cutting their pay. Green Party co-leader Marama Davidson says she won't give up on her right to repair bill, despite it stalling at Selects Committee. The bill will force manufacturers to provide parts and tools so consumers can repair goods over $100 instead of replacing them. It passed its first reading with backing from Labour, the Greens, Te Pāti Māori and New Zealand First, but Winston Peters' party has since pulled support, citing the bill costly and unworkable. Davidson says it's frustrating, given the strong public backing and changes she's made to address government concerns. The committee process has also drawn criticism, with opposition MPs accusing government members of wasting time by working on fixes they later refused to support. The bill's setback comes as the government rolls back other waste reduction measures, scrapping the container return scheme, watering down plastic bans, delaying product stewardship rules, and cancelling plans for mandatory curbside composting and recycling. Alcohol lobbyists tried to head off higher taxes, limits on supply, and restrictions on sports sponsorship measures the World Health Organization says are the most effective against alcohol harm. Documents released after an ombudsman appeal shows officials even gave industry groups early drafts of fetal alcohol spectrum disorder and alcohol levy strategies, while keeping them from the public. Spirits New Zealand dismissed estimates of up to 3,000 babies born with FASD each year as not credible, sparking criticism from advocates who say the industry is downplaying the problem. The Health Ministry insists companies had no special access or veto power. Big power companies being forced to play fair. The Electricity Authority will now require generators to offer the same prices to all retailers, banning retailers from giving themselves discounts. The government says it'll boost competition and lower bills. Associate Energy Minister Shane Jones, once a fierce critic, says the authority has finally shown teeth. Energy Minister Simon Watts says the rules are mandatory and enforceable, while Labour's Chris Hipkins backs the move but wants tougher action. Meanwhile, Cabinet has confirmed Greyhound racing will end in New Zealand by July 2026. The government will draft legislation to shut the industry down. Citing animal welfare concerns after repeated reviews, Racing Minister Winston Peters says a transition agency funded by the TAB will help with rehoming dogs and supporting those in the sector. He says the move aligns with global shift away from the sport.